Well, hey there, it's Dave Dubeau. Welcome to this episode of the Raise Capital 101 show for investors. And today is a little bit different. We're going to be taking a little clip, a teaching lesson from one of my recent full day Capital Activator virtual workshops. So this clip is all about really understanding why it's important not to be seen as a flash in the pan when it comes to communicating with your prospective investors. I think you'll enjoy it a lot. Check it out.
There are millions of real estate investors out there, and most are stuck with just a couple of properties. They want financial freedom, but their small portfolio ends up costing them more in time, effort, and money than it's worth. Getting out of the rat race seems harder than ever. This show will help you do more deals, better deals, and bigger deals. Finally, you'll be able to reach your income and lifestyle goals. How? By attracting and leveraging private money partners and their capital. Now get ready to raise more money, because here's your host, Dave Dubeau.
A big danger with marketing is getting off to a good start, but then stopping. So you come across as a flash in the pan. I want to remind you that the lifetime worth of an investor to you is huge. If you crunch that number, you understand what that is. And I'm going to be recommending some stuff to you that involves time, effort, and or money. Okay. If you're not hiring us to do this stuff for you, you have to figure out how to get it done. That's going to require you to figure out how to do it, plus getting it done. So it's either going to involve an investment of time or money. But you got to remember, the profit you make from one investor, even just doing one deal with you, will pay for all of your marketing forever and then some. Okay, you got to keep that in mind. You're in a high margin business, folks. You really are. Ruben, you understand this. You've gone through deals. You've gone through some big deals. You understand what the value is in this. So again, if I'm recommending some stuff to you that kind of stretches your comfort zone, get over it. Do it. If you want to get results, you got to do different things than what you've been doing so far. Does that make sense? All right. Success in my life has largely come from doing what other people are too lazy to do, right? And you're going to get there a lot faster when you get help. Does that make sense, you guys? Have you seen that in your own lives in different areas? Where you're most successful is where you take massive action, okay? So now that we know who to approach as our prospective investors, now the question is how. So we want to get the word out. My marketing mentor, Dan Kennedy, says the money is in the list. I kind of agree with that. However, I want to modify that. The money, the capital, OPM, your joint venture partners, your investor partners, your private capital, your private investors, all of that is within this group of people. But it all revolves around the relationship you have with those people. Does that make sense, you guys? Know, like, trust. That's what we have to focus on. Know, like, and trust. So we got that investor list. Let's get the marketing going. This is the glue that keeps it all sticking together. Now, consistency is key, you guys. I want to illustrate this with an example. Have you ever been to a home show? It's been a while probably, but have you been to one? Put up your hand if you remember. Have you been to a home show? You know what they're about. Okay, so let's use this as an example. Let's say you are a vendor at a home show. And for the sake of this example, you're selling hot tubs. And let's say one particular day of the home show, you get 1,000 people to attend, and you're that hot tub seller. And let's say out of 1,000 people, 100 of them come by your booth and show some interest in your hot tubs. I know these are big, broad numbers, but just for the sake of this, okay? So as a hot tub seller, you want to know, hey, 100 people showing interest is great, but what's that going to translate to as far as hot tub sales? So there's a company out there that does follow-up. Did you buy calls? They're not trying to sell anything. They just follow up with people and say, hey, did you end up buying a hot tub? And they follow up with folks 3 months after, 6 months after, 12 and 18 months after the original home show. And here's what they found. Very interesting results. Typical results over those 18 months. Half of the people will not have purchased a hot tub. No big surprise there, right? 50% don't buy, but 50% do buy a hot tub over the next 18 months. But here's what's really interesting. Almost nobody buys from the original hot tub guy. Why? because he's inconsistent. He doesn't keep front of mind with those people. And they definitely don't all buy at the same time. In fact, only a few of them buy pretty soon to it. Most of them, out of those buyers, only a few, 15%, will buy within the first 90 days. The other 85% will buy sometime between month 4 and month 18. Okay. So what the hell does that have to do with us in raising capital? Well, let's look at your situation with your 200 list of potential investors. Let's say you do some of the smart marketing that I'm going to be teaching here today. And we only get 20 of them to show interest in our deals. Okay. So 20 of those, that's only 10%. They show interest, right? That's pretty good, because if these stats hold true, if we do things correctly over the next couple of years, half of them won't invest, but that's okay. We know that up front, but half of them will invest. However, here's the trick. They aren't all going to invest immediately. We might get a few of them investing in the short term, like in the first few months. But the vast majority, 85% of them, that bottom part of the iceberg, they're going to invest over time, right? Sometime between month 4 and month 24, if we stay top of mind with it. Does this make sense, you guys? Because here, let's back up for a second. Just because we want people to invest in our deals, just because I want Gord to invest 150 grand in my deal, doesn't mean Gord is ready, willing, and able to invest 150 grand in my deal. Does that make sense? All right. If he's part of my list. However, time and circumstances might change for Gord. So he might not be ready within the first few months, but if I keep dripping that constant, consistent, edutaining communication over time, once Gord gets his next mutual fund statement, once Gord comes into some money, perhaps he inherits some money, he sells a property, whatever, something happens, changes Gord's situation. I want to be the person that's front of mind with Gord. Are you following me there? That's the importance of this constant, consistent communication. You got to keep in touch with people over the long term, especially for a big ticket item like this. I mean, we looked at the hot tub example. Well, that's, 5, 10 grand kind of thing, investment. We're talking about 50, 75, 100, $200,000 investment. It might even take a little bit longer, right? So again, just because we want it doesn't mean they're ready right now. And if all we do, we need to do two things. We need to focus on the quick capital and the long-term capital. We need to do both, right? Because if we only focus on the quick term, then we're going to miss out on 85% of what's available to you, right? So we need to play the short game and the long game with that constant, consistent, edutaining communication.
This episode is brought to you by MoneyPartnerFormula.com. Our Money Partner Formula service allows you to raise all the private capital you need to do all the deals you want while we handle the hard stuff. We offer reliable and affordable done-for-you marketing services that get you investor meetings booked without all the work. So go ahead and check out the website right now, and then feel free to schedule a call with me, and let's take your portfolio to the next level. Again, that's MoneyPartnerFormula.com. Watch investor meetings pop up in your calendar. We handle the rest.